In the heart of China's ancient mountain realms, veiled in mist and mystery, lives a creature so serene, so tender in its presence, that it seems more myth than reality. The giant panda, cloaked in its iconic black and white, does not roar for attention. It doesn't hunt, it doesn't chase. It simply exists, peacefully, gracefully, almost as if it has made a silent pact with nature to do no harm. Unlike the ferocity often associated with wild beasts, the panda represents a different kind of power, a gentle force that moves us not through fear, but through fascination and affection. With eyes that reflect something familiar, something deeply human, the panda stands as a quiet ambassador of the natural world, asking us not for protection, but for understanding. Its story is not just a tale of survival, but one of wisdom, tenderness, and harmony. Imagine waking up to the gentle rustling of leaves, to cool mountain air carrying the scent of fresh bamboo and distant rain. The panda's world is a sanctuary, untouched by the chaos of modern life. Nestled in the mist-covered ranges of Sichuan, Shanxi, and Gansu, these forests are ancient cathedrals of green, rising like soft waves into the sky. In this emerald kingdom, the panda lives a life of quiet rhythm. It wanders through thick groves where time seems to move differently, slower, softer. The panda doesn't conquer its land, it becomes part of it, moving with such calm that even the bamboo seems to lean in closer when it passes. Here, in this natural temple, the panda is more than an animal. It is the soul of the forest itself. Millions of years ago, the panda's ancestors walked a very different path, one of meat and muscle, more bare than bamboo sage. But nature, in all her infinite creativity, nudged this creature down a gentler road. Slowly, the panda adapted. It transformed its diet from flesh to foliage, finding life and peace in the humble bamboo stalk. Its body, though still bearing the frame of a carnivore, became suited for this new way of living. Its jaw grew stronger, its teeth flatter, and most curiously, it developed a false thumb, an evolutionary marvel that allowed it to grip bamboo with an elegance that almost resembles human dexterity. The panda, in defiance of logic, survives on food that offers little energy, choosing a life that prioritizes calm over chaos. It is a miracle not of dominance, but of quiet resilience, a testimony to nature's softer genius. For a panda, eating isn't just a survival mechanism, it's an art form, a meditation. Up to 14 hours a day are devoted to this practice as it consumes around 20 to 40 pounds of bamboo. Each bite is a slow, deliberate ritual. It selects a stalk, breaks it with a soft snap, peels it with careful precision, and chews in rhythm with the forest around it. Watching a panda eat is like witnessing a slow dance, a bamboo ballet performed in silence. Despite the vast amounts of food, the panda gains little energy from it, so it conserves its strength by moving slowly, avoiding unnecessary excitement, and living a life that honors stillness. In a world that praises speed, the panda reminds us that there is beauty and strength in slowness. What draws us most to the panda may not be its fur, its movements, or even its rarity, but its eyes. Ringed in velvety black, they seem to hold a sadness, a softness, a knowing. We look into those eyes and feel seen, as if this creature, so unlike us in body, mirrors something very much like us in spirit. The panda's expressions evoke compassion. Its gentleness disarms even the most hardened heart. Unlike other bears, it does not growl to assert dominance. It communicates with chirps, bleats, and soft chuffs, sounds more reminiscent of lambs or birds than of beasts. These tender sounds, paired with its calm demeanor, create an emotional bridge between human and animal. The panda doesn't need to ask for our love. It receives it simply by being what it is, a quiet soul wrapped in fur. There is perhaps no deeper symbol of the panda's heart than the love of a mother for her cub. When panda babies are born, they are blind, helpless, and so tiny they barely look like pandas at all, more like tiny, squirming bundles of pink and white. Yet the mother holds them as if they are her whole world. For weeks she rarely eats, drinks, or moves, cradling her baby in an embrace as delicate as silk. She hums to it, licks it clean, wraps her body around it like a living cocoon. This bond is fierce in its tenderness and sacred in its stillness. As the cub grows, learning to crawl, to chew, to climb, the mother is both guardian and teacher, guiding it with patience until it is ready to explore the forest alone. And then, as all wild mothers must, she lets go, trusting the forest to take over where she must leave off. But for all its beauty, the panda's world has long stood on the edge of disappearance. Human hands, driven by need or greed, have carved roads through forests, replaced bamboo groves with concrete, and pushed these gentle beings into smaller and smaller pockets of land. By the 1980s, panda numbers had plummeted to alarming lows, fewer than 1,000 in the wild. The creature that once roamed free across vast lands now faced extinction, not because it couldn't adapt, but because we didn't. It was a tragedy written not in fire, but in quiet neglect. The panda, the silent dweller of mist, was being silenced by the noise of human progress. And then, something changed. The world paused, looked into the panda's eyes, and for once, we listened. China launched an unprecedented effort to protect its national treasure. Natural reserves were established, bamboo corridors replanted, and breeding centers built with care and precision. Conservationists, scientists, and local villagers came together to do what once seemed impossible, to give the panda a second chance. And remarkably, the panda responded. Slowly, with patience befitting the species, the population began to rise. Cubs were born. Forests began to breathe again. In 2016, the giant panda was officially downgraded from endangered to vulnerable. It was still at risk, but no longer vanishing. The panda had not only survived, it had inspired a global movement for nature's gentle ones. The panda isn't just a national symbol, it's a global sweetheart. It is adored not because it is flashy or fierce, but because it is gentle. Zoos across the world house pandas not simply for display, but as part of international breeding and conservation programs. From the US to Japan, people line up for hours just to glimpse a panda roll, yawn, or lazily chew a leaf. Videos of pandas tumbling in snow or clinging awkwardly to trees have become global sensations, drawing laughter and awe alike. The panda reminds us not to take life too seriously, that it's okay to stumble, to nap, to just be. And in a time when we are bombarded with conflict and chaos, that reminder feels sacred. More than anything, the panda teaches us about balance. In its diet, in its temperament, in its way of living, it reflects the ancient Chinese philosophy of yin and yang, soft and strong, playful and wise, quiet and resilient. It reminds us that true strength doesn't always come with noise, that survival doesn't always mean dominance. In a world driven by ambition and speed, the panda invites us to slow down, to breathe, to notice the rustle of leaves, the sweetness of a single moment. And it whispers a deeper truth, that the earth is not just something to use, but something to cherish. Pandas are not creatures of performance. They do not leap, dash, or roar to capture attention, yet the world watches them, captivated by every lazy roll and gentle nibble. Why? Because in a time where everything moves too fast, the panda offers something rare: stillness. It speaks in a language made not of sound, but of presence. It teaches without words, how to be in the moment, how to savor simplicity, how to let go of rush and return to rhythm. A panda doesn't strive, it doesn't compare, it simply is. And in its quiet, many find healing. There's a grace in its slowness, a lesson in each careful step. As it pads silently through the undergrowth, it carries with it not just the scent of bamboo, but the memory of ancient earth. Before cities rose, before sirens screamed, before the human heartbeat forgot how to sync with the planet's pulse. In its silence, the panda carries the echoes of forests unbroken, skies unchoked, rivers unspoiled. It is not just an animal, it is a relic of harmony, a living echo of the world as it once was, and could be again. Though it stands as tall as a grown human and weighs more than a man, the panda behaves often like a child at play. It climbs trees only to fall out of them with a startled squeak, rolls in the snow as though auditioning for joy, and sometimes simply lies on its back with limbs splayed, staring into the sky as if dreaming. This endearing, clumsy playfulness is part of why we connect so deeply with pandas. They don't intimidate, they invite. Their movements are unthreatening, their expressions often curious or confused, like a toddler exploring a brand new world. This childlike energy also makes the panda an ambassador of joy. In a world weighed down by grown-up troubles, the panda reminds us that there is power in innocence, in wonder, in unguarded delight. Watching a panda explore its surroundings is like seeing the earth anew through eyes that haven't yet learned to fear. It is a mirror that reflects back to us a simpler self, one that laughs easily, loves gently, and lives fully in the now. Across centuries and civilizations, animals have symbolized strength, wisdom, danger, loyalty. But the panda holds a unique place in this symbolic bestiary. It does not stand for war or conquest, nor is it feared as a predator. Instead, it has come to embody peace, not the passive peace of silence, but the active peace of coexistence, of balance between species, between nations, between humans and the earth. In Chinese culture, the panda has long been revered not only for its rarity, but for the balance of black and white in its fur, believed to represent the cosmic harmony of yin and yang. It is fitting, then, that the panda has been used as a symbol of diplomacy. Panda diplomacy, as it's called, has brought countries closer together, with China gifting or loaning pandas to other nations as a gesture of goodwill. These animals are not just biological marvels. They are bridges, walking symbols of trust and cooperation. In a fractured world, the panda becomes more than a mascot of nature. It becomes a soft, furry reminder that unity is possible and that gentleness can, in fact, change the world. Beneath the panda's dreamy charm lies an organism that continues to puzzle and fascinate scientists. Its digestive system, despite its bamboo diet, is still structured like a carnivore's, short, simple, and poorly suited for processing plant matter. To survive, it must consume staggering amounts of bamboo every day. This biological contradiction, the meat-eater's gut housing a vegan's appetite, makes pandas a subject of ongoing research, especially in the fields of evolution, genetics, and conservation biology. Researchers have discovered that the panda's microbiome, its internal ecosystem of bacteria, helps it digest its fibrous meals, though imperfectly. Scientists also study panda communication, reproduction, and behavior in both wild and captive environments. Understanding their habits has not only improved breeding success in conservation centers, but also provided critical insights for habitat preservation. Through technology such as GPS collars and motion sensing cameras, we now glimpse into the panda's life without disrupting it, watching them rear cubs, establish territory, and even mourn. Yes, mourning. Pandas, like elephants and some primates, display behaviors that suggest emotional depth. When a cub dies, the mother sometimes continues to cradle it for hours, unwilling to let go. It is in these moments that we are reminded once again, this is not just a creature, it is a being. From ancient ink paintings to modern animated films, pandas have found their way into nearly every form of cultural expression. They are carved into jade, etched onto scrolls, printed on stamps, and painted on the faces of children during festivals. Artists have long been drawn to the panda's gentle form, using it to represent innocence, nature, and harmony. In popular media, pandas are often cast as wise sages or lovable goofballs, characters that disarm with warmth and awaken something childlike in all of us. But beyond media and merchandise, the panda has imprinted itself onto the global consciousness in a deeper, more emotional way. People who have never seen one in person speak of pandas with affection, even reverence. They donate to save them, travel across continents to visit them. Children dream of hugging one. Adults smile at the thought of one clumsily somersaulting through snow. The panda doesn't just exist in zoos or forests. It lives in stories, in dreams, in hopes. It is, in the truest sense, a spirit animal for a world desperate for softness. Though we celebrate the panda's recovery from the brink of extinction, the journey is far from over. Climate change, habitat loss, and human expansion still threaten the bamboo forests pandas rely on. With bamboo flowering and dying cyclically every few decades, any disruption in habitat can be devastating. And while pandas in reserves are protected, their wild cousins still need vast, connected ecosystems to thrive, not just isolated patches of greenery. The task ahead is not just to protect pandas, but to protect the world they belong to. That means sustainable forestry, responsible tourism, reforestation efforts, and community involvement. It means education, cooperation, and long-term vision. It means remembering that every species plays a role and that saving one gentle bear may teach us how to save the planet. And yet, there is hope. The panda has taught us that it's never too late. That change, even slow and quiet, can bloom into transformation. That compassion, once awakened, can ripple outward into action. As we bring this journey to a close, let us return once more to that misty grove, where a panda, half hidden by a swaying curtain of bamboo, sits in quiet contentment. It lifts a stalk to its mouth. It chews. It pauses. And then, with a sigh, it settles into the earth like it has always belonged there. This moment, so simple, carries the weight of 1,000 truths. It is the stillness we crave, the gentleness we need, the future we can still choose. To know the panda is to remember what we often forget, that kindness is powerful, that nature is sacred, and that in the quietest places live the strongest hearts.